It's opening night in college basketball here in Oxford, Ohio. We are live inside Millett Hall where the Miami RedHawks are set to face the Old Dominion Monarchs. I'm Gavin and I'll be taking you all the way to tip-off right here on the RedHawk Radio Network. Miami comes in fresh off a strong campaign, posting a 25-9 record and making noise in the MAC last season, nearly winning the MAC championship. Just in a last-second loss to the Akron Zips when they had a lead by 18 points in the second half. A heartbreaker for RedHawks and the RedHawk fans. But they're loaded with returning talent, with guard Peter Suter, the leading scorer from last year, leading the pack, along with other key returning pieces like Brant Byers, the MAC Freshman of the Year last year, Ian Elmer, a key piece of the lineup last year, and Evan Epsaro, who we continue to see arise throughout the season last year at the point guard position. The list could go on all night, but the RedHawks also bring in a very talented freshman class with guards like Trey Perry. We'll talk about the rest of that lineup in a little bit, but on the flip side, Old Dominion arrives with plenty of talent. The Monarchs went 15-20 last year, endured some growing pains in the Sun Belt, and are eager to return the page under Coach Mike Jones. It's his second year as the head coach, and a lot of things are looking to change for the Old Dominion Monarchs. But they got some seniors like Casey Shaw, the 6'4" guard, and forward Stephon Walker sitting at 6'7", two seniors anchoring the comeback effort for the Monarchs. This team has their eyes set on an SBC championship, and that's all that has been talked about all offseason for Old Dominion. Let's get things started with the RedHawks. A 25-9 season last year where things were just off the charts for this RedHawks team, and we continue to just see continuous growth. A little bit of a technical difficulty there, but we are back on air. We're talking about Miami, and exceeded expectations last year under Travis Steele with a 25-9 record. This team returns the majority of their key pieces like we had just talked about from that MAC runner-up squad. One key piece returning that sticks out like a sore thumb is Peter Suter, the leading scorer from last season, and he comes back, and he quickly announced that comeback in the offseason. Just 3 days after that MAC championship heartbreaking loss, Suter had announced that he would be returning for his senior year, and that's when things lifted off for an awesome offseason for this RedHawks team. Suter is a clear candidate, though, for the MAC Player of the Year. He's actually the preseason favorite for that award, but his scoring abilities and impacts that he brings to both sides of the courts are going to be a huge part of why this RedHawk team thrives this season. Last season, we saw this team thrive offensively, being one of the most efficient offenses in the country, averaging nearly 80 points per game. Now, some key returners other than Peter Suter would be Ian Elmer, the junior, who had a ton of minutes and started for this team routinely last year. Brant Byers, that MAC Freshman of the Year last year, returning. He's going to enter the starting lineup this year by the looks of it. And Evan Epsaro, who continued to get more starter minutes at the point guard position as we got into the latter half of the season. He'll probably be taking over that role at the point guard position. Antoine Woolfolk, the rebounding threat, the big man, former Rutgers player, had a big season for the RedHawks last year, and he's looking to improve those efforts as well this year and have a big force on the glass for this team. And then Luke Skaljak. Last year had an unbelievable freshman year, and he was just super efficient, probably the most efficient player on the court at all times. It felt like he only took the right shot and the right passes at all times. Another key returner in him. Now with these key returners, this Miami team looks like a serious threat to win the MAC, and that's what's going to be talked about all season. It's going to be continued to talk about. This team's expected to win the MAC. Last year, it was a little bit up in the air, and, you know, expectations weren't nearly as high, but expectations haven't been this high in years for RedHawk basketball. Travis Steele's doing an amazing job with that. Last season, RedHawk fans got a taste of what this team could do. And what I mean by taste is they felt like they won a MAC championship with about 5 minutes to go in the MAC championship. It felt like this team was about to be in March Madness and we were going to be watching Selection Sunday. But the Akron Zips had other things in mind, and in a heartbreaking loss, the Zips ended up outdoing the RedHawks and winning the MAC championship. Expectations, they're sitting high for this team, and it really feels like a MAC championship or bust type of year. And that's credit to these players returning, as well as the development that Coach Travis Steele and others have done with this team. Now, who is this team? Obviously, it's the first game of the year. Tons of excitement built around that. But this team, to give a brief summary of tonight, first, they open up as -6.5 point favorites, but you can't really fall in love with that stat as we haven't seen either team play yet either, besides those little exhibition games that a lot of key players didn't play in. This Miami team is very young still. We talk about returning and you think a senior-heavy team, but that's just not the case at all. Travis Steele has done an amazing job recruiting guys out of high school and getting these guys to stay as well. And that's why this team stays young. Last year, a good freshman class with a lot of contribution from that freshman class. They came back. All those guys are back and they're hungry with bigger opportunities arising for them. But they're super young. I mean, the roster is junior heavy with a ton of their contributions coming back. We talk about key seniors like Peter Suter and Antoine Woolfolk. Those guys are key players, but a lot of those big-time scorers and contributors are juniors and below. Now, we'll take a little bit of a break, but stick around. Don't go anywhere because we're going to talk about the new guys getting on this RedHawks team when we come back. You're listening to the RedHawk Radio Tip-Off Show. Welcome back to the RedHawk Radio Tip-Off Show. Just about 15 minutes out from the national anthem here at Millett Hall. Crowd starting to fill in as we speak. Expecting a pretty good crowd as an opening night with a ton of excitement built around this team after that last season that they brought to Oxford, Ohio. Now let's talk about some of these new guys. We'll first talk about the freshman guard Trey Perry, a freshman from Lakota East High School in Cincinnati, Ohio. Perry was the do-it-all guy at Lakota East and listed as one of the best scorers in all of Ohio. Getting Perry to stay in the area and not go elsewhere was huge for Coach Steele and the RedHawks, as he was one of those early commits for this RedHawk commitment class. You saw him at the OU game last year get announced, and you know there's a huge impact that's expected out of him right from the start with Perry. Saw him contribute a lot in high school for Lakota East. He was genuinely the do-it-all guy, just one of the best scorers in all of Ohio, not just the city of Cincinnati. This guy did everything for the Lakota East Thunderbirds, and he ended up getting that team all the way down to the state quarterfinals. Another player now is Brady Ganley, a freshman from Brecksville, Ohio, who actually played high school with Luke Skaljak. They had a good connection back in the day in high school, and now they're teaming up again here in Oxford, Ohio for the RedHawks. He's a super good athlete with great feel for the game, and Brady Ganley could be a guy who could really find a role, kind of like his buddy Luke Skaljak did last year, with just his efficiency and feel for the game. Certainly a guy that Travis Steele would love to have on the court and loves to have out there. Justin Kirby, a freshman from Fishers, Indiana, another sort of local type of guy. Kirby is a bigger guard sitting at 6'4" and has a ton of potential and could very well make a large impact for this team this year with his length at the guard position. Now, last year, I had a little bit of an issue when it came to size and rebounding the ball. And Tyler Robbins, the freshman from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, is going to definitely contribute and help that case right from the start. Robbins has a ton of size, sitting at 6'10", 245 pounds. You got to expect Robbins to have a massive impact for this team, really right off the get-go, and including tonight with the rebounding that he brings to the court, and also just being able to stretch the court as well. LaShawn Stowers, a freshman from Peroa, Illinois. Stowers is another guard with lots of size at 6'5" and a super skilled scorer. A do-it-all type of guard that can just flash the ball from behind the arc and also take it to the rack when needed. Kyle Waltz, a freshman from Elmhurst, Illinois, another Illinois guy. Waltz is a 6'7" forward who does a great job stretching the floor as well and guarding all positions on the court. That's the way that Kyle Waltz can find his way into lineups throughout this season, is just being able to guard all positions need be. With these 6 freshmen being a part of this team, you have to expect them to make large impacts throughout the season and be a huge part to how this team does overall. We talked about 6 freshmen being contributors, and that just got to give props to Travis Steele and what he's done. He's done a little bit of an old school style with getting guys straight out of high school, not just being heavy on the transfer portal, but he's gotten guys from the high school and including some local guys like Trey Perry to stick around in the Cincinnati area and play for the RedHawks. Now, this team, a ton of expectations, and it starts tonight against this Old Dominion team that we're going to talk about now. Old Dominion, Monday's game will mark their 3rd ever meeting between the Miami RedHawks, and ODU fell 60-58 to Miami in the 2nd round of the 1993 NIT tournament. The teams met again on November 24th, 2000 in the San Juan Shootout, a game that went to the RedHawks 64-57. RedHawks have the 2-0 advantage, but that means nothing tonight, as it's the first game of this season, and both teams have a lot to prove. Monarchs hosted Hampton University in an exhibition last Sunday, October 26th at Chartway Arena. ODU trailed by 13, 64-51, with 8 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in the second half, and pulled to within 2, 81-79, as LJ Thomas knocked down a 3-pointer with 9 seconds left. But Old Dominion ultimately couldn't catch their opponent, though, as the Pirates held on 82-79 in a nail-biter. Thomas, a senior guard who transferred to ODU from Austin, PA, led the Monarchs with 22 points. KC Shaw was next with 17 points, and Kalam Swanton Roger, Zach Wiggins, and Scotty Hubbard finished with 10 points each. Swanton Rogers and Jared Turner both pulled down 5 boards as well. Now ODU was without Robert Davis Jr., the Sun Belt's preseason player of the year, and Drew McKenna, a sophomore transfer from Georgetown. So 2 players they were without that are going to be huge contributors for this team throughout this season, especially tonight. This team is a lot older and more experienced than last year's team that boasted 7 freshmen. Those 7 freshmen returning and now a year wiser, and that can do a lot for their skill sets and just overall fundamentals. Coming off of a poor season, this team hold confidence with talks about Sun Belt Conference championships. The last time they did that was 2019, and they're looking to do it for the first time since then this year. It's now Mike Jones' second year as the head coach, as a former player for Old Dominion. There's a mindset on championships, even with the tough non-conference schedule they have. They have a tough start to the year, and it starts tonight with this Miami RedHawks team, who's also super, super tough, of course, and we talked about how good they're supposed to be this year. Old Dominion's tough schedule starts tonight, and it continues. Stick around, don't go anywhere. We'll return after this small break. You're listening to the Red Hawk Tip-Off Show on the Red Hawk Radio Network. Sun Belt champions, they say in unison. That's what ODU has said all off season during their time, as they've prepared for a season where they come back from a rough one last year. But we talk about this ODU team. They finished strong last year with the Sun Belt Conference Championship, where they were able to win a few of those games and ultimately get some momentum steamrolling into this season. And that's going to do a lot for this team, and I feel like that did a lot as well with getting those returning players. This Old Dominion team has expectations inside of their locker room, not a ton outside, but that means nothing as we're early on in the season. RedHawks with a little bit of a different story as they open up as the MAC preseason favorites alongside other teams like the Akron Zips. But this Miami team boasts the MAC Player of the Year candidate in Peter Suter, with other guys like Ian Elmer, Brant Byers, Evan Epsaro, and others who really could win that award just as easily, especially a guy like Brant Byers, who showed so many amazing signs and continued to just get better and better throughout his freshman campaign. He's probably going to enter the starting lineup this year, and expect a ton of production out of him, a guy who can really do it all for this team, a great scorer and a great defender as well. Brant Byers, a guy to keep circled while we talk about this RedHawks team, and a guy who I expect to be one of the key pieces throughout the season. We talked about who this Miami team is, and last year Travis Steele, you saw him use about 9 guys within the entire lineup, and I expect the same thing this year with all these amazing freshmen coming to Oxford. They're all going to be hungry for some playing time, and Travis Steele's going to do everything in his power to give each of those guys some opportunities, especially early on in the season before those roles are really, truly solidified and lineups are truly, found out. So tonight is a good opportunity to figure out this team, and that's where the excitement comes. Is Trey Perry going to play a lot? Is Brady Ganley going to play a lot? Is Justin Kirby going to get a ton of opportunity? What about Tyler Robbins? What about LaShawn Stowers? And what about Kyle Waltz? Who's going to step up as the freshman? Is it all of them? Is it one or is it none? Who knows? But we know that we got some key guys that will be coming off the bench, and Luke Skowjak. Skowjak felt like he was going to be the sixth man for this team at some point, but then Brant Byers ended up kind of taking that role over midway through the season once MAC play really started up. Two of those guys coming back this year, and that's going to do a lot for this team, and a lot of production coming from whoever doesn't really get the nod in the starting lineup tonight. Still expect to get starter-type minutes within this team. Just about 4 minutes away from tip-off. The RedHawk tip-off show wrapping up here. Gavin Stark, and I'll be talking to you at halftime here in Millett Hall, but I'm going to kick it to Andrew Relvas. Thanks so much for listening to the RedHawk Radio Tip-Off Show.
Good evening and welcome inside Millett Hall for the 2025-26 season opener for the Miami RedHawks men's basketball team. My name is Andrew Relvas, joined alongside Bryan Miller, along with Gavin Stark. And welcome into the 2025-2026 college basketball season. We're so happy to have you all here for the ride and what should be an exciting year for the RedHawks. Well, Bryan, last year the RedHawks had their best season yet. They went 25-9, and they were oh so close to making March Madness before falling in heartbreaking fashion to Akron 74-76 back in March. But this is a brand new year and a brand new mission for the RedHawks as they try and make it back to the dance for the first time in 18 years.
Sure is, Andrew. 25-9 last season for Miami, the most wins in program history. And it was a bit of an unexpected season for this Miami squad, projected to finish middle in the pack. Well, they finished second, but this year the expectations have been raised quite a bit. Projected to finish second in the MAC behind the Akron Zips, who they obviously lost to in the MAC championship game. And Andrew, this is a group, they're pretty much running it back almost entirely. Only two main guys missing from last year's squad, Cam Kraft now at Georgia Tech, and Reese Potter as well at the Kentucky Wildcats. 10 players returning for this Miami squad, almost unheard of, especially for a mid-major in today's landscape.
Absolutely, and Travis Steele spoke at his introductory press conference about how everybody was locked in, how everybody was driven for last year's unfortunate defeat to the hands of the Akron Zips, but everyone except a few players are back for the RedHawks, and they are looking to make some magic happen inside Millett Hall. Well, we're about 20 seconds away from the national anthem, and with that, we will pause and take a break. You're listening to Miami RedHawks men's basketball. It's a season opener on Red Hawk Radio. Stay with us. We're back after the national anthem, and now we have the starters announced by both head coaches. First for Mike Jones, Old Dominion Monarchs. He's rolling with Casey Shaw, the Maryland Eastern Shore transfer. Jordan Battle, the Coastal Carolina transfer. Another guard in that spot. A little bit of a surprise here. We're seeing Scotty Hubbard, the guard from Washington, D.C., making a start on the season opener. The forward, a Canadian, Calum Swatton-Roger, the 7-foot man from Calgary. And rounding out the Old Dominion side, it is L.J. Thomas, a player who transferred in from Austin Peay, and he's hoping to make a big impact tonight. Meanwhile, for Miami, it is the projected starting lineup that we expected coming into tonight, and now we'll finally see it for the first time in the 2025 year. It's Ian Elmer, the third-year man who had a breakout year last year. He'll be starting at the forward spot. Antoine Woolfolk, the big man down middle, will be manning the center position in his second year with the RedHawks, former Rutgers player. Evan Ipsaro finally in the starting lineup. Last year it was Makai Cooper. This year it's Evan Ipsaro. We'll see him play. Brant Byers, another player who had an excellent year last year, winning MAC Freshman of the Year. and now he finally slots into that starting spot. And finally, Peter Suter, who had one of the best years in recent memory for the RedHawks. He will be the star player tonight for the RedHawks, a first-team All-MAC player last year. So the RedHawks, Bryan, bringing back mostly everyone in the starting lineup, just a few players that are missing from last year, of course, Cam Kraft and Makai Cooper, but everyone else is still locked in and they're ready to rock and roll tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. A very experienced group for the Miami RedHawks. You mentioned Evan Ipsaro. He didn't start at all last year, but he got starter minutes in the critical situations in the end of the season. He was in the game. So I don't think it's going to make much difference now that Evan Ipsaro is running the point. And Brant Byers as well. He wasn't a starter last year, but he played a lot of minutes. Obviously a very talented player, winning Freshman of the Year last season.
Yeah, and Coach Steele talked about how Evan Ipsaro is an extension of him on the court. He's got no ego at all. He's such a selfless player, and he certainly could have gotten starting minutes like you mentioned, Bryan, but now officially in that starting role. And of course, Brant Byers, who is really going to be one of the top players on the RedHawks this year. Excellent defender last year, and we're finally going to see what he can do as a starter.
He was one of those players in the preseason, I should say, introductory press conferences, whether it was media day or the press conference we had here. Brant Byers was the name that came up often as someone that really improved. And he's able to improve off the last season. He should be one of the best players on this team. Should be a huge difference maker.
For the RedHawks this year as well, they're bringing in 6 freshmen, including a couple guys who should play big roles. Tyler Robbins, the freshman forward from Pittsburgh, he's going to be a big player this year. Trey Perry, another player to look out for, the guard from Lakota East, and Justin Kirby, just to name some few. So 6 freshmen coming in, and we'll see what type of impact they play tonight here in Millett Hall.
Yeah, really interested to see how some of the freshmen get some minutes tonight and how they fit into this rotation. It'll be very interesting to see.
And turning it over to Old Dominion, last year they made the Sun Belt Conference. They almost made it into the semifinals before falling to Troy 59-75 in the Sun Belt quarterfinals. And they will try and make a trip back to the Sun Belt tournament this year under Mike Jones in his second year. And we'll see if they can do it later this year. Almost all ready to get started here inside Millett Hall. Miami, they're wearing the home whites with the Miami red across the chest and the white and red shorts. And meanwhile, for the Old Dominion Monarchs, still in the huddle here, but they're about ready to get started inside Millett Hall here in Oxford, Ohio. Really nice crowd too, especially from years past. This is really the first major crowd in a season opener for a long time for Miami.
This is probably the most hype that we've seen for this men's basketball program in quite a while. It might be since they last made the tournament in 2007. A very good showing from the student section as well behind the basket. It looks like it's pretty full.
Last year, the student section, especially those last few games in the regular season, it was basically filled to the brim. Talk about that Kent State game that went double overtime along with the Ball State game. It was packed, and the RedHawks and their fans are trying to bring the energy in the 2025-26 season. Thanks again for joining us. Appreciate you for tuning in and spending your Monday evening with us. College basketball is finally back, and we're excited to give it to you here on Red Hawk Radio. Old Dominion, they're wearing their navy jerseys with Old Dominion across the front, and the ODU shorts, navy with the turquoise white and turquoise shorts. It'll be Caleb, Stanton, Roger, and Antoine Woolfolk standing right at center court, about ready to tip this one off here inside Millett Hall. Ball is tipped up, won by Stanton Roger, and Old Dominion moves from right to left. Hubbard up top, and it's back over to LJ Thomas. Thomas, the Austin Peay transfer, gives it over up top to Jordan Battle. Swings it up top, right wing. Moving the ball quickly on the opposite side. LJ Thomas gives over Battle. Near corner three from Hubbard, and it swishes in. And Old Dominion leads 3-0 here in the first.
This is a Monarch squad that really struggled behind the arc last season, 14th in the Sun Belt Conference, below 30%, but 1 for 1 in the season so far.
3-0 lead for the Monarchs, and here's Ian Elmer for the RedHawks. Give it over short. Evan Ipsaro up top of the key. Suter back over. Ipsaro knifing his way inside. Bounce pass near wing. Suter faking the pass, trying to go up for the floater, comes up short. Battle for the ball, won by Thomas, and Old Dominion gets a stop.
Looks like Suter just hesitated a little bit, maybe getting it to Woolfolk down low, decided to go with the shot instead.
They give it over to KC Shaw, the former Maryland Eastern Shore player. Feed down low inside. Hubbard on the baseline, and he lost the ball. That'll be out of bounds off of ODU. He just lost his footing there.
Yeah, it looks like for a split second they might call a foul on Antoine Woolfolk. That'd be a bad sight for the Miami RedHawks, someone that struggled with foul trouble at points last season, but a good break there for Miami, and in my opinion, the correct ruling.
And so far, we don't see Robert Davis Jr. either. He didn't play in the exhibition against Hampton, so we haven't received any word on it, but I assume it's some sort of injury. So no Robert Davis Jr., and Old Dominion will need to dig deep on their bench tonight.
Be a big loss, the Sun Belt preseason player of the year.
Ipsaro 2-on-1, left elbow, passes up top to Suter, gives it over right wing, Ian Elmer. Near the top of the key, it's Antoine Woolfolk against Stanton Roger. Passes short, Evan Ipsaro driving inside, a righty floater short, almost the rebound there for Woolfolk, and another stop for Old Dominion. LJ Thomas races the other way, gives it over Jordan Battle inside to the Canadian Caleb Stanton Roger, and he puts it down with a two-handed dunk. 5-0 Old Dominion over Miami.
Old Dominion dominating inside so far.
Here's Suter on the baseline, kicks out, far corner three. It's Ipsaro, that rattles off. Rebound fought for and won by Suter. The RedHawks get a fresh 20. Straightaway three, it's Byers. This one bounces off right side, and another rebound for the Monarchs. Slow start for the RedHawks.
Couple open looks there from Miami from three, though. You'll take it.
Near corner three, it's Turner, and that's good. Old Dominion leads 8-0, a fast start for the Monarchs.
Yes, a tough break there for Miami. Couldn't get a couple threes to go, and then give up a transition three to Jared Turner.
Evan Ipsaro up top, Antoine Woolfolk straightaway three. This one rims left, and that'll roll out of bounds right in front of the ODU bench.
Yes, certainly respect the confidence there from Antoine Woolfolk, but it's really not his game, shooting a three at the top of the key.
Old Dominion right now 3 for 3 from the floor and 2 for 2 from deep. The RedHawks are 0 for 5 from the floor and 0 for 3 from deep. So this is a perfect start for Old Dominion, a slow start for the RedHawks. And now we see Almar Adelson, the former Bradley Brave, checking in.
Someone that Travis Steele was obviously very high on, was very glowing in his remarks in the preseason meetings.
Stanton Roger, high block, gives it over Jared Turner. Goes left wing, KC Shaw. Shaw driving in, he lost the ball. And they're gonna call this out of bounds off of Miami.
Yeah, they're gonna meet, they might change the call here.
And they will. Goes back to the RedHawks. 50-50 ball, and they give it back to Miami, initially off of Elmer. See what Adelson can do here. Versatile player, in the words of Travis Steele. RedHawks trailing 8-0, 17 minutes left to go in this first half. Evan Ipsaro knifing his way inside, lost the ball, gives it back out. Adelson kicks out, right wing three, Elmer, it's good. Miami answers, and it's 8-3. Old Dominion here in the first.
Well, one thing about this Miami team, they will not stop shooting. Even if they have a cold streak, they're going to keep getting the rock up, and eventually they'll go win. Good shot there from Elmer.
First points of the year for the RedHawks. 8-3 Old Dominion. KC Shaw, check that. That was LJ Thomas, and it's blocked out of bounds by Ian Elmer. Both him and Skowjak were right there.
It looked like Skowjak got the block on Old Dominion. Really good play from him.
Thomas on the baseline, gives up top. Turner, deep three straight away. This one hits off the right rim, and it'll bounce out of bounds harmlessly near Miami's bench.
Certainly allow that look from Jared Turner if you're Miami. Turner, an interesting story. Actually sat out last season. Last played a couple seasons ago at Northeastern.
Here's Ipsaro knifing his way inside, kicks out, far corner three. It's Elmer, and this one's off. The rebound is picked up, and this will be a foul on Thomas. Looked like initially. Now they're going to roll this one off. It'll be a loose ball foul on Miami.
Yeah, calling the foul on Atlason against Old Dominion.
First of the year for Atlason, and it'll be ODU ball. 5-point lead for the Monarchs. They lead 8-3. LJ Thomas goes over top. Turner, straightaway three. He sinks it. They lead 11-3 here in the first.
And Old Dominion now 3 for 4 on 3-point attempts. It's much different than the Old Dominion team from last season.
Grant Byers kicking in the corner over to Ipsaro. Dancing with his man. Kicks up top. Luke Skowjak. Deep threat on the three-point side. Nearly out of bounds. Picked up by Ipsaro. Ipsaro knifing his way and taking a fall to the floor. It'll be a foul on ODU, and we will pause for a break. Be a foul on Jared Turner, and with that we will take a break. Old Dominion starts out strong and starts out fast. They lead 11-3 here in the first. 15:36 left to go, and we will take a break. You're listening to Miami RedHawks men's basketball on Red Hawk Radio. Stay with us. Welcome back inside Millett Hall. 15:36 left to go in the first, and the RedHawks down by 8. 11-3 Old Dominion. Bryan, slow start for the RedHawks, but how can they turn it around?
Yeah, 1 for 7 from the field, 1 for 5 from three-point land for Miami so far. But honestly, they're not getting horrible looks. I would think at a certain point, these are going to start falling in.
Skowjak on the near baseline finds Woolfolk. Hands it back, Skowjak near corner three. That rims out. High rebound picked up by Turner. Off to the races, here comes the Monarchs. They've got numbers, pretty feed, and a nice finish for Caleb Stanton-Roger. It's 13-3 Old Dominion.
Yeah, just not a good enough job for Miami getting back on defense. That was a pretty easy feed for the big man.
And this will be an offensive foul on Almar Adelson. He ran over Turner. Already 2 quick fouls on Adelson.
Yeah, not a great start for the Bradley transfer. You'd have to expect that he's being taken out of the game, and he indeed is.
Brant Byers will take his spot. Tough couple of minutes for Atlason. Won't be the last that we see of him tonight. RedHawks 1 turnover, but it feels like a lot more just the way they've been treating these possessions. Shooting 1 for 8 and 1 for 6 from deep. Old Dominion basketball moving from right to left. Give it up top, Scotty Hubbard, the sophomore. Dancing over, high block to Stanton-Roger. Back over, it's Battle. Battle, lob, looking for Stanton-Roger. Woolfolk was there, ball's loose on the baseline. Couple of RedHawks are there, and they give it back to Old Dominion.
Man, it seems like a late call there, ruling that the ball was out of bounds. Sure looked to me that Luke Skowjak was able to recover it within the court of play, but maybe it went out before then.
Old Dominion basketball. Hubbard hands back up top to McKenna. McKenna off the bench, tries a deep straightaway three. This one hit back rim off the window, and it's picked up by Trey Perry. First time we're seeing him tonight. Skowjak thought about a three, gives it back up top to Antoine Woolfolk. Near top of the key over to Suter. Suter driving inside, puts up a shot, falling down, and he's fouled. I believe that was on Zach Wiggins. And the RedHawks will be shooting some free throws here.
And that's really where Pete Suter excels the most, is when he's driving to the basket. You can either draw a foul or get himself a layup right at the rim. And Suter able to get it there. It's probably the best way to get this RedHawk offense going.
Suter was a good free throw shooter last year, 78%. Honestly, you can say so many good things about the way Miami shot it from deep and at the free throw line. First one's good for Suter, and it's 13-4, excuse me.
Certainly when you're down this hole for Miami, you gotta get your points at the charity stripe.
And the second free throw is off the front rim, and Suter splits the trip. 13-4 is our score. 14.5 left to go in this first half. On the right side, it's McKenna. McKenna against Byers, far elbow, trying to spin away and shake him off. He can't. Nice defense by Byers. Lost the basketball, picked up by Suter, and the RedHawks get a steal. Really nice defensive set there for the red and white. Suter looking inside for Woolfolk, lost the basketball, picked up by Woolfolk. He's down, and here comes the racing Monarchs. Up to the rim, quick foul on Suter, as that was Scotty Hubbard putting up the shot. And that's another sloppy possession for the RedHawks. They get the steal, but a sloppy pass turns into a foul on Miami.
Yeah, it looked like Suter was looking inside to Woolfolk, and they just weren't on the same page. And despite the hustle from Antoine trying to get the ball back, ends up getting into the hands of Old Dominion, and a chance for 2 more points for the Monarchs.
Scotty Hubbard makes the first free throw. The Washington, D.C. native. Averaged 2 and 1 last year, but he scored 10 points in the exhibition against Hampton a few days ago.
Yeah, Hubbard's certainly someone that will pick up some more minutes for Old Dominion this season. So far, so good for him.
And Hubbard gets his second free throw. Up to 5 points on the night. One behind Jared Turner. So it's 15-4 Old Dominion over Miami. But let's see what the RedHawks can cook up here. Now we see Tyler Robbins coming in, the Pittsburgh kid. Feet up top, Tyler Robbins' pass was a little bit in front, and this will shoot out of bounds off of Miami. Third turnover for the RedHawks.
Yeah, it looked like Skowjak and Robbins weren't quite on the same page as the big man was rolling towards the basket, got out of his hands and out of bounds. Now 3 turnovers for Miami tonight.
Miami shooting 1 for 8 from the floor. Straightaway 3, this one's from Wiggins, and he nails it. Another 3-pointer for the Old Dominion Monarchs. They are 4 for 6, and it's 18-4 Monarchs. RedHawks work it back the other way. Robbins on the high block near wing. Gives it over Byers. Surveying up top, Perry over to Skowjak. Driving inside, lefty layup. He's fouled, and he'll get some free throws.
Skowjak with the pump fake at the 3-point line, decides to drive it in, try to get the lay-in, but instead we'll get the foul called on him. You'll certainly take that if you're a Miami fan.
Third foul on the Monarchs, and now we'll see Skowjak at the line. Skowjak had a nice year last year as he makes the first one. 68% free throw shooter, was a 5-1-2 player, but those numbers didn't tell the full story. He brought a lot of energy off the bench.
I know defense is something that he's really trying to work on both throughout last season and this season. He has a block already tonight.
And Skowjak is 2 for 2. Perfect from the trip. RedHawks trailing by 12. Close to halfway into this first period. The RedHawks are trying to go on a run here before our next break. It's KC Shaw back over to Wiggins. Back over Shaw. Mid-range jumper outside the free throw line. Rims off, and it's cleared by Elmer. Here comes Elmer racing to the rim, puts up a shot, lost the ball. This will be a turnover as he was doing a little bit too much there, and that one is out of bounds off of Miami.
Yeah, just sloppy. It's kind of been the theme for this Miami offense so far in this first half. Elmer trying to drive it inside, but Old Dominion able to get a hand on it in a wild shot.
Another turnover for the RedHawks. Now we see Raymond back over to Casey Shaw, and this will be a turnover on Old Dominion.
It looked like a moving screen called on Raymond. Miami will certainly take it, just trying to get anything going. They're doing their part defensively this past couple minutes. Just have to clean up the turnovers on offense and get some quality shots up.
Fourth foul on Old Dominion. 4 players all have 1, and it'll give the ball back to the RedHawks. Trailing by 12, but a run here would be big. Evan Upsaro up top, Peter Suter searching for Woolfolk, he'll keep it himself. Suter in the corner, gives it over Byers. Byers driving inside, lefty layup, falling down, it counts. And Miami trails by 10, 18-8 here in the first.
Man, great take there from Brant Byers going across the court, able to get the lefty layup home.
Beautiful work to knife his way inside. 10-point lead for the Monarchs, trying to cut it. RedHawks would love a stop here. KC Shaw left wing against Elmer. Shaw inside, gives it up top. Here's Turner for 3, it's off. Came up well short there, nice defense by Miami. Suter over to Elmer. Bouncer over to Woolfolk. Hands it off close to Elmer. Elmer, right wing tray. Back rim, and this will be off of Antoine Woolfolk and Miami. And that will take us into immediate timeout. So the RedHawks trailing by 10, but you can certainly feel the momentum pendulum tilting Miami's way. We'll take a break, and we'll be back in a moment here inside Millett Hall. It's Old Dominion 18, Miami 8 here on Red Hawk Radio. Back inside Millett Hall with the RedHawks trailing 18-8 versus the Old Dominion Monarchs in the first game of the MAC Sun Belt Challenge. Last year the RedHawks were 2-0 against Sun Belt teams, and they'll try and start out the season strong against one here.
There you go.
Here comes the RedHawks, steal by Suter, driving inside, reverse layup, it's good for Suter. The scoop and score counts, and he cuts it to 8, 18-10, Miami trailing in the first.
Best way to get your offense going is with the steal on defense. That's exactly what Pete Suter did.
In the corner, Thomas for 3. Halfway home, and it rolls in. Got the lucky bounce there for Old Dominion. It's 21-10. Antoine Woolfolk controlling the offense here, battling against Stanton Roger, and he passes up top to Suter. 11 minutes left to go. Suter faking the pass, lefty layup. It's good for him, off the glass and in, and they cut it back down to 9. 21-12. Suter's in control here.
Yeah, great take there from Pete. Faked the pass to Brant Byers in the corner, took it up himself for a nice land.
RedHawks offense starting to click in gear here. Up top, Battle, give it over to Thomas, back over Battle. Deep right wing three, that one hit the front rim, cleared for takeoff, picked up by Elmer. The RedHawks get a stop. It's Elmore bouncing down, kicked ball, as this one went close to us. It'll stay with the RedHawks.
That was heading our way, Andrew. I know you were ready, though.
Elmer threw that one off of, it looked like Stanton Rogers' foot pretty hard. And that stops the clock at 10:24. So it's RedHawks basketball here as they give it up top to Evan Ipsaro. Passing the timeline, Ipsaro sprinting inside, puts up a righty layup off the glass and in, and Miami trails 14-21 here in the first.
A few great takes from Miami these past few possessions, whether it's Pete Suter or Evan Ipsaro. They're starting to work inside out.
Finding success in the paint. LJ Thomas works up top. The Austin Peay transfer kicking in the corner for three. It's Battle, and he was fouled.
Ugh.
Battle in the far corner. Believe that was Suter who fouled him. The Coastal Carolina transfer will have 3 free throws coming up.
And it's just tough there. You have a great few defensive possessions there. If you're Miami, just a tough foul for the RedHawks on the three-point attempt.
Foul on Ipsaro, so this will be 3 for Jordan Battle, and he nails the first one home.
And credit to ODU tonight, 3 for 3 from the charity stripe so far.
Battle from Norfolk, Virginia. Last year at Coastal Carolina, 13, 4, and 2. He's a talented player, and he was picked as a Sun Belt Conference preseason third-team player. Makes the second one, and it's 23-14. Free throw here would make it double digits for Old Dominion. And Battle sinks the third. He is 3 for 3 at the line in that trip, and it's 24-14 Old Dominion over Miami.
Just gotta get going here offensively if you're Miami.
Working quickly the other way, Ipsaro head full of steam. He was fouled by McKenna, and that'll stop the clock at 9:50.
Yeah, you can see Travis Steele at the Miami bench, very energetic towards his squad, tell him to pick it up, pick up the tempo. It started to work these past few possessions. And Ipsaro, especially when he's driving inside, can make a lot of stuff happen.
Ipsaro up top gives over Adelson. Straightaway key here, Suter. Searching for Robbins, gives it over Skaljak. Left wing three, it's good! Luke Skaljak nails it, and Miami cuts the lead to 7.
Great shot there from Luke Skaljak. It's a deep three, but it's definitely open. The lead cut down to 7.
24-17, RedHawks are on a roll here. Suter puts a hand in there off of Shaw, turnover Old Dominion, and Miami gets another stop.
Just a great play there from Pete Suter going in for the ball. This is a Miami defense that can be very, very stingy and get the ball back on the offensive end.
Sticky hands from Suter forces the turnover as Skaljak was searching for Atlason, but this one was off of Old Dominion's Battle on the near sideline. 7-point lead for ODU, but Miami can cut it even more here. 9:10 left to go. Atlason on the right wing, high block, gives it over Tyler Robbins, top of the key. Up top, Skaljak gives it over Atlason. Thought about a three, step back three, left side, halfway home off the front rim. Nice look there from Atlason, but a little short. Back the other way, they give it over Casey Shaw. Swings it over McKenna, back over Battle. Battle double team in a wall, trying to throw it away, gives it over Shaw. In the corner, Thomas for three, puts it in, and one. Thomas, a chance for a 4-point play. What a shot as Suter was closing out and he fouled him on the near three-pointer. Wow.
Yeah, just a tough break there for the RedHawks defensively. Suter leaping up and getting into the space of LJ Thomas. And a big-time make for him as ODU extends the lead to 10.
Thomas, a chance for a 4-point play, was big in that exhibition game, scored 22 points and to 6 points. Can make it up to 7 with the free throw. And he makes the free throw. So extends the lead back up to 11. 28-17 Old Dominion over Miami. See Trey Perry again. Gives it up top to Ian Elmer. Left wing over to Perry. Perry high block to Tyler Robbins. Defended well by Stanton Roger. Robbins looking for the screen. Will give it over Skowjak. Free throw Jay for Skowjak off. And it's picked up again by Old Dominion.
And ODU trying to push the tempo here.
In the corner, Casey Shaw defended by Elmer. Tough jumper on the far elbow and he nails it. Another tough jumper. Shaw sinks it. And it's 30-17 Old Dominion over Miami.
And those mid-range shots for KC Shaw, definitely the strength of his game. Played Miami last season at UMES. Had 27 points in that.
Elmer inside and he was fouled. Looked like that was off of Jordan Battle, the foul on him. And that'll stop the clock at 7:48. Well, Old Dominion having himself a great start here in this first half. 9 for 15 from the floor, 6 for 10 from deep, and they're leading Miami by 13. 30-17, Old Dominion over Miami, and we will take a break here from Millett Hall. Stay with us on Red Hawk Radio. .48 left to go in this first half, and the RedHawks are down by 13. Bryan, the RedHawks have been threatening. They've been getting closer and closer, but a late push there by Old Dominion extends their lead to 13.
Yeah, it's really just a matter of getting a couple of threes down if you're in Miami. You're playing pretty well defensively, getting some steals and getting it back to your offense, and you've been driving it inside nicely as well. Just getting a few of those threes to the outside, Miami could be right back in this game. They're not that far off.
Almar Atlason was fouled off of Casey Shaw. Makes the first one. The Icelander sinks the second, and the RedHawks trail by 11.
Certainly like the way that Atlason has responded so far in this game. Picked up a couple of early fouls, but is starting to play much better defensively and obviously able to get on the board with a few points.
RedHawks forcing a press, and Old Dominion finally gets it off. Left elbow jumper for KC Shaw, all alone on an island, sinks the mid-range J, and Old Dominion extends the lead 32-19 here in the first.
Yeah, saw some defensive pressure there from Travis Steele, but ODU able to break it and get themselves a good jumper from Shaw.
7:20 left to go in this first. Perry up top, left wing three. Skowjak rims off. Battle for the board, tapped around, won by Woolfolk. Another offensive possession. Elmer for three, right wing, no, and another offensive board for the RedHawks. Third tries the charm. Skowjak, lefty layup, it's short, and Old Dominion gets a huge series of stops.
Yeah, a couple of good looks there again for Miami. Shout out to Antoine Woolfolk, really fighting hard on the glass. Skowjak decided to drive it in. The ball got tipped away immediately.
13-point lead for the Monarchs. Caleb Stanton-Roger up top. Gives it left side for Shaw. Back over, looking for Stanton-Roger. Stolen away by Woolfolk. Off to the races. Righty layup off the glass and in. And it's 21-32 Old Dominion in the first.
Love the defensive effort from Antoine Woolfolk. They're able to get the steal. And how about the acrobatics at the rim with the reverse layup?
Scoop and score for Woolfolk. 6:20 left to go. Jordan Battle, double team, ball was tipped. All sorts of RedHawks are there. 3-on-1 as Caleb Stanton-Roger put up a shot. He was fouled, and he's going to the free throw line. Sixth foul on Miami.
This one, Roger, the 7-footer out of Canada. It's always going to be a mismatch against this smaller Miami squad if Big Maple is able to get the ball in the paint like that.
Foul was on Trey Perry. And Stanton-Roger gets the friendly roll, extends the lead 33-21. Stanton-Roger, former Maryland Terrapin, spent a few seasons in College Park before playing last year with Old Dominion. A lot of schools in the DMV area. Second one's good for him.
Yeah, DMV very well represented in this ODU squad. Obviously a very talented basketball area in high school and especially college.
Stanton-Roger 2 for 2, and it is 34-21 Old Dominion over Miami. 13-point lead for the Monarchs. 6 minutes left to go. Here's Luke Skowjak near the free throw line, gives it up top. Brant Byers, back left wing, Skowjak. Skowjak defended by Shaw. Over to Ipsaro in the corner. Luke Skowjak driving inside. He was fouled off of Hubbard. Stops the clock at 5:54. And now Miami is in the bonus.
Yeah, they've certainly done a good job of driving the ball inside these past 5 minutes or so, especially Luke Skowjak. A good first step against Scotty Hubbard. Is able to draw the foul.
Skowjak back at the free throw line on the 1-on-1, and he sinks the first one.
And if you're Miami, just gotta get to the free throw line as often as possible in these last 5 minutes and 54 seconds.
RedHawks are shooting 6 for 7 from the free throw line. Second one from Skowjak, it's good. And he cuts the Old Dominion lead to 11, 23-34, 5:50 left to go in the first half. Scotty Hubbard up top, defended by Ipsaro. RedHawks in a zone here.
Yeah, they just switched to the 2-3 here.
Back over to Hubbard, up top Shaw, swings it over Jordan Battle. Shaw thought about a three, drives inside, bounce pass, beautiful feed over. This one was blocked off the rim. Nice hand there by Skowjak. Raymond went in for the dunk, came up short. Skowjak the other way, lefty layup, draws a lot of contact, no foul, and Old Dominion clears it the other way. Thomas in the corner gives it over Hubbard. Near wing three, it's good. Another three-pointer for Old Dominion, 7 for 11. And they lead 37-23.
Yeah, just tough. ODU has been killing the RedHawks in transition today.
And Ipsaro draws the foul on Raymond. And now we've got both Monarchs and RedHawks getting into a shouting match here. Feathers being ruffled inside Millett Hall. And now you see Mike Jones irate on the opposite sideline.
Yeah, it looks like double technicals called on ODU and Miami. I'm not sure who won. I would imagine Antoine Woolfolk for the Miami side. You certainly have to understand the competitive nature from him, especially the way this game has gone. Try to light a spark here in this very good crowd here at Millett.
Looked like Woolfolk was, well, obviously Apsaro drew a ton of contact on that foul from Raymond. And of course, you got to back up your player, Woolfolk, there. And he was basically telling Raymond to back off, and that led into a few argumentative words. And with that, both players got technical fouls, as now we see all three officials having words on the official decision for this. It's been a physical game so far, Bryan.
Yeah, it certainly has, Andrew, and obviously probably the most physical part of the game so far coming in that last sequence. It's usually a style that Miami doesn't do great at, but if you're able to make a few threes, you could certainly change that. But 2 for 11 so far, just hasn't been Miami's day shooting the rock.
Last year, even in bad shooting nights, it still felt like they kept attacking from deep. We'll see if Miami decides to avoid that. They've had good success, especially inside the paint, and we'll see which way they go. But yeah, 2 for 11, struggling from deep.
Looks like the officials are at the monitor right now. I'm not sure if this is a flagrant situation or not. That would have to be my guess as to what they're looking at.
Yeah, it could be just the way that Apsaro fell. Old Dominion as well, shooting 7 for 11 from deep. They've got 3 players who've already made 2 3-pointers, Hubbard, Thomas, and Turner. And now both officials are on the opposite side. Now you see Travis Steele and Mike Jones interlocking arms near midcourt. Jones was really frustrated. He was screaming at Scotty Hubbard a few minutes ago, but seems to be a little cooled off. And kind of what happens in the heat of the moment here. Well, 5:04 left to go. The RedHawks likely going to be shooting some free throws here. And it'll be technical fouls on Miami's Antoine Woolfolk and Old Dominion's Scotty Hubbard.
So pretty much what we expected from the get-go.
And this will be free throws for Evan Apsaro. Be on the 1-on-1 here. Apsaro's first free throws of the season, and he sinks the first one.
Certainly the guy you want up at the line if you're Miami. 81% last season from the free throw line. Has the record for free throw percentage at Covington Catholic High School.
Shot 81% last year, and he nails both, and Miami cuts the lead to 12. 37-25, Old Dominion over Miami. Old Dominion, they've had such success in this first half, and they're trying to extend it for the final 5.
A lot of encouragement coming from Travis Steele at the end of the Miami bench.
LJ Thomas against Antoine Woolfolk, losing his dribble, and he lost it out of bounds. This is off of Miami. Looked like that was clearly off of Thomas, but it stays with Old Dominion, and they change it back. That's about the second or third call that's been reversed on that near baseline.
Yeah, the official nearest to us definitely had a better look at it than the guy underneath the basket. So I agree with the reversal there.
Call got turned around, and it's Miami basketball. Moving on the right side, Antoine Woolfolk driving inside, righty layup off the glass, shook off Turner, and the RedHawks cut the lead to 10.
Love the take there from Antoine. Very physical game inside now.
RedHawks are trying to keep up this momentum. Here is LJ Thomas up top. Jordan Battle, the CCU transfer. Battle dancing over. KC Shaw kicks in the corner. It's Thomas. Thomas against Suter inside the free throw line. Up top, Battle. Shot clock winding down. Battle puts up a shot from way downtown, and he extends Old Dominion's lead to 13. In the corner, Byers for 3. That one's offline. Rebounded by Woolfolk, clears the glass. Under 4 left to play. 40-27 Old Dominion over Miami. Suter, one-on-one, inside the paint, righty layup, no good, gets his own miss, and he kicks up top to Woolfolk. Gives it over Elmer as he was searching for Suter. Miscommunication there as this one kicks out of bounds, and that'll be off the RedHawks.
It just feels like the way this game has gone, Andrew, to be honest. You could play 20 seconds of really good defense if you're in Miami, and then ODU could get a 3 up, and it's enough. They don't need a ton of space tonight, but for Miami, you got a couple of great looks from three-point land. They're just not quite able to go down. It's just been that type of night so far.
Old Dominion 8 for 12 from deep, shooting 63% from the floor, and they have made all their free throws. They're making Miami really struggle here as they're really threatening them on the road. We'll take a break and be back in a moment. 40-27 Old Dominion over Miami. We'll take a break. Three and a half minutes left to go in this first half. Miami trailing by 13 against a team from the Sun Belt in the Old Dominion Monarchs. Old Dominion shooting 8 for 12 from deep. They have found their success from beyond the arc. On the near baseline, it is Jordan Battle, and he took one too many steps, pressed up highly there by Peter Suter as he forces a turnover.
Yeah, still good pressure from the RedHawk defense, able to move the pivot foot, get it back to your O.
Forces the 9th turnover in this first half on Old Dominion, and Peter Suter works it the other way. Suter pivoting, gives up top Brant Byers, feeds down low, Antoine Woolfolk, the big man, former Rutgers Scarlet Knight, going against the other center. Suter in the corner, swinging around, finds Ian Elmer inside the free throw line. He puts up a shot, he's fouled, and he'll go to the free throw line.
It looks like Elmer and Battle were both cutting inside towards the paint. Looked a little bit disorganized for Miami, but you're able to draw the foul anyway, so still a chance to get some points on the board.
Foul on LJ Thomas. 10th foul on the Monarchs. And this first free throw is good for Elmore.
Gotta give Miami credit, 10 for 11 at the free throw line. They're staying in it.
RedHawks as well in the double bonus. So they'll be shooting 2 free throws from here on out. Now we see Suter coming out, Skowjak entering, trying to bring a spark of new life on this Miami court here. Second free throw from Elmer, he nails it, and it's 29-40 Old Dominion over the RedHawks. RedHawks are 11 for 12 from the free throw line. Swanton Roger, nearly stolen away by Skowjak, gives it over Turner. Shaw, left wing 3. That one too much on the shot. Rebounded by Ipsaro, and the RedHawks force it the other way. Ipsaro over to Byers, down low, Woolfolk in the corner. Skowjak feeding over Ipsaro. Ipsaro inside the paint, off the glass and in for 2, and the RedHawks cut it to 9.
Miami passing it around the perimeter. Looked like another three-point attempt, but Pissarro taking it inside. Great moves at the rim. They're able to cut the deficit to single digits.
Beautiful ball movement. Great finish by Pissarro. Free throw J for Battle. That's offline. And here comes the racing RedHawks.
Feels like a big one here.
Elmer over to Byers. Inside Antoine Woolfolk. Defended by Swanton Roger. Woolfolk working inside, and he took one too many steps. That's going to be a travel. Had a nice pivot, trying to maneuver around the big man, but took an extra step there, and that's a turnover on the RedHawks.
Yeah, not great positioning initially from Antoine Woolfolk, 6'9", going up against a 7-footer, Swanton Roger. It's going to be tough for Woolfolk anyway, and if you're in a bad spot initially, it's going to be even tougher.
Now we see LJ Thomas back in, along with Zach Wiggins. Swanton Rogers on the high block over to KC Shaw. Shaw working up and under. Elmer was right there, and he gets a big stop. Forces the miss. Fast break finish, and Byers throws it down. Pissarro to Byers. Slam down for 2, and the RedHawks cut it to 7.
Man, what a pass from Evan Pissarro going down the court to find a cutting Brant Byers.
Righty floater is good from LJ Thomas, and now we've got an injured Swanton Rogers. Thomas got the finish, and right after that, Swanton Roger fell to the floor. Not a good sign for the Monarchs, but he's walking to his own power, and Jones will sub in Turner for him.
Yeah, a little bit of a limp from Swanton Rogers. He retreats back to the Monarch bench, and it's just kind of the way this game has gone, Andrew. As soon as Miami gets a few scores together, ODU is able to respond, that time LJ Thomas.
Single-digit lead for the Monarchs. On the high block, it's Antoine Woolfolk working against Turner, spinning around. Woolfolk inside the rim, counted and one. Woolfolk over Turner, cuts the Old Dominion lead to 7. It's 42-35, a big man play for Antoine Woolfolk.
And at that time, Woolfolk was in outstanding positioning down on the block. He's able to work his magic and get the foul called against him on Turner. Gets it to go as well. Chance for an old-fashioned three-point play.
The 6'9" senior shows off the strength as he misses the free throw opportunity, but still a big play for the RedHawks. Found success in the paint tonight. Under a minute left to play, and Old Dominion will take a timeout here with 58.1 left to go in the first. We'll keep it here as the RedHawks are trailing by 7, but 2 possessions left in this first half likely. Feels like the RedHawks can, if they can get a stop here, they can really bring that momentum into halftime, Brian.
Yeah, absolutely. They've been playing much, much better these past couple of minutes, Andrew. It's really started on the defensive end. They've been able to get a few turnovers from this Old Dominion squad. If you're able to do so once more, and maybe even on a transition type of situation, you can maybe get 2 for 1 here. If you're able to do that, this is pretty much a 50-50 ball game as we enter the half. So a huge last 58 seconds for the Miami RedHawks.
Old Dominion has led for the entirety of this game, but the RedHawks, if they play their cards correctly, they can get very close to tying this one up in the first half. Be LJ Thomas up top, RedHawks in a zone here as they give it over to Turner. Jared Turner back over to Jordan Battle. Ball moving up top, shot clock in single digits. It's a free throw J for LJ Thomas. Rims off, rebound on the line, and this will be a foul on Byers. Rebound was picked up there by KC Shaw, and a foul at 40.6 on Brant Byers is a big one for Old Dominion.
And it just seems like we have seen so many fouls from Miami today, either the last 10 seconds of the shot clock or in a rebounding situation such as that. It's just could be a much different ball game if Miami was a little cleaner in those situations.
Here's the free throw, rims out. Second chance opportunity off the glass and in, counted and one for Jared Turner, who raced off of the line like a racehorse And that extends the lead for Old Dominion, 44-35, and a chance for another at the free throw line.
It's a tough few sequences there for Brant Byers, picking up 2 fouls in 2 seconds.
And the free throw rolls in for Old Dominion.
Certainly feels like a huge possession here for Miami. Down 10 with 39 seconds left. This very well might be your last possession of the first half. Gotta get a score here.
RedHawks working quickly. Woolfolk nearly lost it. They give it back up top to Skowjak. 10-point lead for the Monarchs. RedHawks trying to cut it. It's Elmer working inside. Woolfolk slams it home. Elmer to Woolfolk, and Miami cuts it to 8.
There you go. Miami having a lot of success with Antoine down low, up to 8 points in the ballgame.
45-37. Nice feed and finish. 14 seconds left to go. We'll see what the Monarchs decide to do here. Now Jake Thomas over to Jordan Battle. Working inside KC Shaw. Free throw jumper halfway home. 1 second left. Half court heave for the RedHawks, and it's offline. That was from Luke Skowjak. He has deep range, but he missed that one. And the score will end 37-45, Old Dominion over Miami after the end of the first half. Well, Bryan, it started out slow for the RedHawks, but they started to pick it up, especially in that midway portion of the first half. And they will try and keep some momentum as they head into the halftime break.
Yeah, it looks like Antoine Woolfolk is keeping the RedHawks afloat for now. 4 for 5 from the field, and Miami 4 for 5 from the field in their last 5 attempts. They've really been hammering it inside these last few minutes of the first half. We don't see that often from this Miami squad. We're used to them lighting it up from three-point land, but they're just 2 for 12 today. Yes, you'd have to imagine they'll try to get a few looks to open up this second half, and if some of them fall, they could be right back in this game.
RedHawks are shooting 2 for 12 from deep, but a good sign. They're 11 for 13 from the charity stripe, and Antoine Woolfolk leading all RedHawks scorers with 8 points, 4 for 5. He's played a big role tonight. We'll take a break and turn it over to Gavin Stark for the RedHawk Radio halftime show as he breaks down tonight's game along with many others across the MAC and the nation. Stay with us. You're listening to Miami Basketball on RedHawk Radio.
Halftime here in Oxford, Ohio. An Old Dominion dominant start to this one as they lead 45-37 over the RedHawks. RedHawks struggled from the field, 12 of 29 as a team, 41%. But the real struggle came from the three-point line, only knocking down 2 of their 12 attempts, sitting at 16% as we hit the halftime here. Free throws were the standout point for the RedHawks as they attempted 13 of them and knocked down 11 for 85% from the free throw line. But Old Dominion matched everything I just said and a little bit more. At the free throw line, they were 9 for 10 with 90%. The three-point line, they were an absurd 8 for 13, a 61% three-point percentage. And from the field, they were 14 for 26, 53.8%. Unbelievable numbers from Old Dominion, and they really spread the rock around the entire first half as the two leading scorers for Old Dominion sitting at 9 points apiece is LJ Thomas with 9 points. He was perfect from the three-point line, 2 for 2, 3 for 5 from the field, 1 for 1 from the free throw line, 2 rebounds and 5 assists in 18 minutes. Had a brilliant first half in LJ Thomas. And then Jared Turner as well with 9 points, 3 for 5 from the field, 2 for 4 from the three-point line for 50% field goal percentage, and 1 for 1 from the free throw line. 4 rebounds, 1 offensive, and only 1 turnover. Now, foul trouble was a serious issue for this RedHawk team in the first half, as well as it felt like everyone that touched the court at least drew into some foul trouble, as we have 3 players sitting in 2+ fouls with Brant Byers, who had grabbed 2 right at the end of the first half, kind of in the same possession. A real brutal way to end the first half for Byers, who was starting to pick things up with a big fast break dunk that felt like a lot of momentum shifted towards the RedHawks' way after that from a fast break outlet from Evan Epsaro that would end up in Brant Byers' hands. He'd go up and slam it down with 2 hands. Really got the crowd going. Momentum was swinging RedHawks' way, and then 2 fouls in the same possession defensively on Brant Byers, and everything was sucked back out of him. Peter Suter, a guy who you're expecting a ton out of, didn't have a ton of opportunities, for only 5 points, 2 for 4 from the field, so pretty efficient in that end, but 3 rebounds, 1 assist. Did have 3 steals though, but 2 personal fouls as well that kept him kind of out for the last 5 minutes of the first half. Turnovers weren't a serious issue for the RedHawks, as only 1 person is above 1 turnover right now, and that's Antoine Woolfolk, but he has 8 points, and he's leading the team in points in the first half, 4 for 5 from the field. Did get a big technical foul over near the Old Dominion side of the court towards the fans. A personal foul after a hard foul on Evan Epsaro that the team didn't really like, so there was a little bit of a scuffle between him and Battle. Ended up both getting pointed for flagrant ones, and that was really the end of it. But Brant Byers, the most minutes played at 17 for the RedHawks in the first half. We talked about it in the pregame show, how big of a role Brant Byers is going to take on this season, and you kind of saw exactly what you thought you would see out of Byers in the first half with minutes-wise. Expect for him to shoot the ball a little bit more, as well as really everyone on this entire RedHawks team. You expect them to shoot the ball better. But Almar Atlason, his first game as a RedHawk, his first half as a RedHawk, only 2 points. Got quickly into some foul trouble as he stepped onto the court. He was the second person to enter off of the bench for the RedHawks, and he got 2 quick personal fouls that kind of slowed things down, but he ended up coming back into the game at the 10-minute mark and didn't draw another one since then. But he's 2 for 2 from the free throw line. That's the only place where his points have came from. Luke Skaljak, hard not to talk about him when you talk about the first half. Wasn't very efficient from the field, but he was perfect from the free throw line for 4 for 4 and 1 for 3 from the three-point line, 1 for 6 from the field. So overall, not shooting the ball too well, but finding a way to get to the line with driving the ball into the paint has been something that he's done. You saw him do that a lot last year, and he's doing that again today. He's been pretty efficient at the free throw line throughout his entire career as a RedHawk, and it looks like that's going to continue this season, as he's perfect so far from there. Also, a sneaky 3 rebounds from Skaljak. He is second on the team in rebounds from the first half. Person in first, that's Ian Elmore with 4 rebounds. Elmore playing 16 minutes, second most out of all of the players. He brought some real energy to this team as he was able to knock down the first basket for the RedHawks in the first half from 3. He's 1 for 5 from the field since then. Hasn't knocked down another shot, but he's been energetic knocking down 2 of his 2 free throws with 4 rebounds and assist, only 1 turnover. Ian Elmore looking to add to those stat line into the second half as he's bringing a ton of energy. So let's give you a quick rundown of everything that happened in that first half. It started off with Miami struggling early to find a rhythm offensively. They're missing shots, and ODU doing the complete opposite, knocking it down everything that they looked at, and they got off to an 8-0 lead quickly that really sucked the life out of the gym fast. But then Luke Skaljek and Omar Atlison were the first to come off the bench. Ian Elmore breaks the seal and knocked down that 3 that we had just talked about. That finally felt like, okay, there's not a lid on the rim anymore, and the RedHawks continue to just not knock down shots so early as ODU continue to just seemingly not miss. Trey Perry, first freshman off the bench. He had some contributions, didn't put up a shot, but you saw the energy that he brought in the first half, defending very well and bringing a lot of energy onto the court, just what you really want to see if you're Travis Steele out of the young freshman and Trey Perry. Old Dominion really won in transition in the first half. You didn't really see any transition buckets until that Brant Byers slam later in the last couple minutes of that first half. Other than that, Old Dominion's been winning in transition, and that's where a lot of their points are coming from. Tyler Robinson, though, he was the next freshman to enter the ball game as he would be the backup, it looks like, for Antoine Woolfolk, which is kind of what we thought with the size that he brings to the court. Both teams really got deep into their lineups. We know Travis Steele likes to get deep into the lineup, but they both did with 9 players entering the court in the first half, so some really high numbers in that mark. Miami starting to find success, though, when they were driving the ball. That's kind of how they snuck back into this game and only look at the first half down 8 points, which is something that you got to look at as a pro as you enter the second half. You played probably your worst half of basketball that you can possibly play, shooting the ball wise and honestly defensively, and you sit here only down 8. So a ton of momentum in that aspect if you can look at it on the bright side. A frustrating first half, though, for the RedHawks overall. Obviously, shots weren't falling, missing a couple defensive assignments, and rebounding the basketball really wasn't too hot as they only sit with 15 and Old Dominion was 17, but it feels like some of those rebounds just weren't turning into points for the RedHawks as Old Dominion was turning those into points on the other end with their rebounds. Now, you sit here down 8, probably not what you expected if you're Travis Steele in the RedHawks, but you're only down 8 without Batty played, like I said. So a lot of things to look at, and if the RedHawks can start knocking down shots, they can easily win this ball game. Let's look around the NCAA in the basketball world going on everywhere else. St. John's leads by 20 at halftime against Quinnipiac. The big one, Florida versus Arizona, tied right now with 5 minutes to go in the first. They're in the TV tie now. UConn up on New Haven pretty easily right now with up 12 with 3 minutes left in the first. Arkansas up 15 over Southern U with a couple minutes left in the first. Tennessee up 10 to Mercer with 3 left in the first. Michigan State up against Colgate by 4 in the first half. And lastly, North Carolina up against Central Arkansas 42 to 19 nearing the end of the first half. That being said, we're about 2 minutes away from the second half here in Millett Hall. RedHawks down 8. You're listening to the halftime show. I'm Gavin Stark, and I'll talk to you after this one ends. We're looking for a RedHawk victory. Stick around, don't go anywhere. Second half underway soon.
Hello and welcome back inside a packed Millett Hall for second half action between Miami and Old Dominion here on Red Hawk Radio. Old Dominion leading Miami 45-37 in a first half that saw the Monarchs shoot 8 for 13 from deep, and they capitalized on all opportunities on the fast break. The RedHawks, of course, hoping to close that out and secure their first victory on the 2025-26 season. My name is Andrew Relvas, once again joined alongside Bryan Miller. And Bryan, the RedHawks couldn't find anything from deep, and they had to rely on some some paint points. And now we'll see if they can connect from deep or if they abandon their game plan altogether, trailing by 8 against a hungry Old Dominion team.
Yeah, last year, three-pointers were the name of the game for the Miami RedHawks, just under 40%, the best in the Mid-American Conference. Tonight, it has not been that great of a start from three-point land for Miami. As you mentioned, just 2 for 12, 16.7%. But yet, you're only down 8. If you're able to get a couple of early looks here in the second half, you knock a couple of threes down, it could potentially be a 2-point game. So they're not as far off as you might think. And as you mentioned earlier, Andrew, Miami is really able to hammer it home in the paint towards the end of the first half. Antoine Woolfolk leading all RedHawks with 8 points. He is 4 for 5 from the field. He has really done a great job with his physicality keeping the RedHawks alive.
And a lot of those physicality has pretty much evened the rebounding battle, as Old Dominion led Miami for the majority of that first half, but Miami closing it. The rebounding battle is 17-15 in favor of the Monarchs, but the RedHawks have more offensive boards with 5 over Old Dominion's 3, and that could certainly be a big storyline to keep an eye out in this second half. Well, the RedHawks will be moving from right to left, and Old Dominion left from right here in the second half. RedHawks as well are 2-0 all-time against Old Dominion. They won their last matchup in 2000, November 24th of 2000 in Puerto Rico, where they took down the Old Dominion Monarchs 64-57. And right as we begin action, a quick foul on Jordan Battle on Evan Ipsaro. Wow.
Yeah, it was Jordan Battle getting the foul against Ipsaro. It's only his first of the game, but already one team foul for ODU.
Physicality has been Old Dominion's game so far. Into the second half, the RedHawks trailing by 8 points. Antoine Woolfolk on the left wing, working against Swanton Roger. Woolfolk spinning around, lefty layup off the glass and in, count it for 2, and the RedHawks cut it to 6. It's 45-39 in the second.
Yeah, just great footwork there from Antoine against the big Maple Swanton Roger. Great start for Miami offensively.
10 points for Antoine Woolfolk, who is having himself a game. Working down low with Swanton Roger. Up top, Jordan Battle defended by Ipsaro. Tough shot. It rims right. Nice defense, nearly taken away by Old Dominion, but Suter controls it. Suter racing down low, head full of steam, lost the ball, but it's out of bounds off of LJ Thomas, who stole it right on the baseline.
This has been a perfect start for Miami. You're able to get a stop defensively, and Antoine Woolfolk able to get a layup good as well. Just a 6-point deficit.
45-39, Miami trailing in the corner. It's Peter Suter. Far side, works on the right wing. Here's a 3 from Suter. Offline, hit the front rim and the glass before Swanton Roger rose and corralled it for the defensive board.
Yeah, quiet start for Pete Suter, just 5 points today.
Left wing 3, it's Hubbard. Byers was trying to get that one before Elmer collects the second chance opportunity, and Miami moves it on the left side. Working quickly, Byers over to Suter. Suter trying to get away from LJ Thomas. Excuse me, that's Shaw over to Ipsaro. Ipsaro driving inside, multiple pump fakes, puts up a shot off the glass and in, counted and one. Evan Ipsaro a chance for the 3-point play.
Now, once again, Ipsaro driving it inside. That's where Miami has excelled all night so far, and able to drive it right into the chest of Scotty Hubbard to get the potential and one.
Ipsaro, the Bulldog, makes a big play inside the paint, and he cuts the lead to 4. 6-0 run for Miami on the past 2:09. And here is the and one free throw. Ipsaro sinks it, rattled home. And just like that, it's a 3-point game.
Here we go, 1-possession game. Let's get a stop here.
18:30 left to go in the game. LJ Thomas over to KC Shaw, former Maryland Eastern Shore Hawk. Shaw inside, gets the friendly roll against Ian Elmer on the right side. And Old Dominion leads by 5, 47-42.
Yes, a really strong take there from the senior guard, Shaw.
Shaw having himself a game so far. 6 points. Up top, it's Peter Suter knifing his way inside, bounces up top to Brant Byers. Over to Ipsaro, a lot of contact. That'll be an offensive foul as Byers ran over Jordan Battle. Another foul on Miami.
Yeah, Travis Steele is certainly not happy about that call. I guess they're calling a moving screen against Brant Byers. He's now up to 3 fouls.
Something to keep an eye on, and now Almar Atlason is up off the bench. 47-42, here comes the Monarchs. Jordan Battle, former Coastal Carolina Chanticleer. Back up top to KC Shaw, and we've got an offensive foul on Old Dominion, moving screen.
We've certainly gotten a much more active whistle here to begin the second half. Up to 4 fouls total, 3 for ODU and 1 for Miami. Could have a big effect on this game if one of these teams is able to get into the bonus early.
Foul on Caleb Swanton-Roger. Back to the RedHawks, it's Ian Elmer. Handing up top to Evan Ipsaro, right wing, sprinting around. Here comes Peter Suter to the rim, off the glass and in for 2, and Peter Suter cuts the lead to 3, 47-44.
That's an excellent set there from Miami. If you're able to get Pete Suter going downhill, he's pretty much unstoppable.
9-2 run for the RedHawks from the end of that first half. It's KC Shaw, free throw jumper, he sinks it over the top of Ian Elmer, and Shaw is up to 8 points.
Man, that's his range. He's absolute money in those mid-range type of shots.
RedHawks work it back the other way. Almar Adelson near corner 3, and he missed everything on that one. And the Monarchs work it the other way. Thomas got the rebound, and he hands it off to Shaw. Shaw, far corner 3. This one is way off again. Both teams trading missed shots. 16:30 left to go. RedHawks trailing 49-44. Almar Atlason, former Bradley Brave, gives it over Evan Ipsaro. Ipsaro lost the ball. He was fouled. That's on LJ Thomas. Stops the clock at 16:14.
Maybe the best trait that Evan Ipsaro has is the ability for him to draw fouls from the opposing team. I mean, now in his 3rd season, I feel like we see that all the time from Evan. And Old Dominion already up to 14 fouls.
Peter Suter in the corner. Suter, couple pump fakes. Scoop layup, it's good for Suter. He's on a roll right now, up to 9 points. And it's 46-49 Old Dominion in the second.
So looking for one more stop here on defense. Once again, a 1-possession game.
KC Shaw against Ipsaro. Couple of RedHawks are there. Feed over to Swanton-Roger. Roger, the hook shot is good for him on the near side, and that extends the lead to 5 again.
Yeah, it looked like that could have been a turnover potentially from KC Shaw, but he's able to find Swanton-Roger down low. He's able to get the hook to go.
Ipsaro driving inside, head full of steam, off the window and in for 2. And the RedHawks cut it to 3 again, 51-48.
Just can't say enough about Evan Ipsaro, the effort that he's giving right now offensively. His ability to drive it inside, him and Suter carrying the RedHawks right now.
RedHawks are 5 for 7 in the second half. Suter draws a ton of contact on KC Shaw. Suter wanted the no call there, but KC Shaw took a tough fall there, and that'll likely be a foul on Suter. We'll see if it's flagrant.
And that's his 3rd.
And Suter will have to take a seat. That's a tough break for the RedHawks as they were getting close to getting another stop there. And now we will take a timeout. 15-18 left to go. We've got a good one here in Millett Hall. It's 51-48, Old Dominion over Miami. $15-18 left to go in this second half. Old Dominion leading by 3. Miami has been teetering back and forth between that 3-point margin, but they haven't been able to break through against Old Dominion. And ODU has a chance to extend it with a couple of free throws here for Casey Shaw. Drew it against Peter Suter.
2 team fouls for Miami, 4 for ODU.
Here's Casey Shaw at the line. And he is 0 for 2 tonight. Missed the first free throw on the left.
And the crowd really starting to get into it here at Millett, letting Casey Shaw know about his unfortunate possession a few minutes ago.
Second free throw. Gets a friendly roll, and Casey Shaw's 1 for 3.
I just gotta say real quick, I love having this type of crowd here. This is great.
RedHawks fans came ready. 52-48. Here's Luke Skowjak. Nice bounce inside. Antoine Woolfolk. Righty layup off the glass and in. And Miami cuts it to 2.
Great pass from Luke Skowjak. He's having himself a pretty good game today. And Antoine Woolfolk, he has been the guy for Miami tonight. Up to 12 points.
Couple of RedHawks in double figures. Battle. Straightaway 3. That's off. And the RedHawks have a chance to take the lead.
Here we go.
Trailing by 2. Ian Elmer the rebound. Driving against Shaw on the far side. Gives it over Woolfolk. Woolfolk up top to Luke Skowjak. Swinging up top. Left wing 3. Antoine Woolfolk can't get it to go. Rebound fought for. Won by Perry. Gives close to Skowjak. Up top. Right wing 3. It's Atlason. He sinks it. And Miami leads for the first time tonight, 53-52, RedHawks over the Monarchs.
Yeah, first 3 and what felt like forever for Miami. What a shot from Atlason. Welcome to Oxford.
And the RedHawks are feeling the momentum. Casey Shaw tipped out of bounds. Trey Perry. And the RedHawks force a turnover. Big play by the freshman.
Man, this defense has stepped up big time, Andrew, ever since about the middle of the first half, and everyone is getting involved for the RedHawks defensively. Great play there by Trey Perry.
RedHawks are on a 5-0 run in the last 70 seconds or so. It's Luke Skowjak double teamed up top, passes right side. Atlason thought about a 3, drives inside, pump faking. Give it over Woolfolk. Left wing 3, it's Skowjak. Rims out, battle for the board, won by Elmer near midcourt. RedHawks get a fresh 20. Luke Skowjak orchestrating the offense, gives it over. Woolfolk, Elmore, a right wing three, that's offline, and it's picked up by Battle. RedHawks cannot extend the lead.
And a couple of deep three there's for Miami. This place would have exploded if one of those went down.
1 point lead for the red and white. Righty layup is good for LJ Thomas on top of Ian Elmer.
What a take. Spinning around, able to lay it in from reverse.
And on the near sideline, Skowjak draws the foul on Caleb Swanton-Roger. This is going to be his third foul. 2 Monarchs have 3 fouls, Hubbard and Swanton-Roger. Of course, Hubbard got the technical foul. 5 personal fouls as well in this second half. Inching close to the bonus. Something to keep an eye on.
And with the way Miami's been able to drive the ball inside, it may not take very long for that to happen.
On the inbound, Tyler Robbins collects it. Here's Robbins, lefty layup. It's good, off the glass and in. The freshman making a big play, extends the lead to 1 for Miami, 55-54.
Great recovery there.
And the RedHawks steal it. Skowjak over to Perry. Fast break opportunity, and Perry loses it on the baseline. A little overexcited there. It's back to the Old Dominion Monarchs. Back and forth we go inside Millett Hall.
Miami maintaining their zone.
Left wing three from Battle. No. Cleared by Perry. The Lakota East Thunderhawk working the other way. Atlason thought about a three. Gives it over Skowjak on the near side. 12:20 left to go in the game. Tyler Robbins, the Pittsburgh native, up top to Ian Elmer. Gives it over Perry, right wing. Shot clock at 10. RedHawks lead 55-54. Perry, right wing, dancing with his man. It's Battle, lefty layup, blocked by Battle, but this is going to be a foul on Miami. It looks like it's a loose ball on Tyler Robbins, and that'll give it back to the Monarchs.
And just nothing really going there for Miami offensively. Not a ton for Trey Perry to do. He just had to drive it inside, but it was blocked by Jared Turner. But it's certainly an understandable look from the freshman Perry. Just couldn't quite get it home.
RedHawks are outscoring Old Dominion 18-9 in this second half. A much better start from the first half. Old Dominion shooting 4 for 9 in this second half. 12 minutes left to go, nearing a media timeout. LJ Thomas up top, Jared Turner, straightaway three. Perry was right there. Rims out on the left side, out of bounds, and it's back to Miami.
And the intensity really picking up, Andrew. This Miami team and Miami crowd is loving it. Should be a great final 11:52.
Take a break and be back in a moment. The RedHawks leading 55-54, hoping for a nice push in this middle portion of the second half. We'll be back in a moment. Stay with us. You're listening to Miami Basketball on RedHawk Radio. 11:52 left to go in the game, and momentum trending towards Miami. We'll see if they can go on a run here and extend this lead. Thanks again for joining us. Andrew Relvas alongside Bryan Miller in a really thrilling season opener here inside Millett Hall in Oxford, Ohio. 55-54 Miami over ODU as Peter Suter has it for the RedHawks. Almar Atlason up top, gives it over Suter left wing. Suter driving inside the free throw line, kicks out over Byers. Byers, right wing three, it's good! Brant Byers sinks a huge triple, and Miami leads 58-54 in the second.
Just a great look there.
Thomas, pretty finish off of the fadeaway layup, and it's 58-56. Thomas has been their guy, leading the charge, 13 points for the Monarchs. Evan Upsaro inside, reverse layup, can't get the friendly finish, and Old Dominion can tie or take the lead here. 11 minutes left to go in the game. On the left side, it's Zach Wiggins, brother of Aaron Wiggins in the NBA. Casey Shaw spinning away. Suter, nice defense. Blocked by Suter. The Carmel kid puts up a big hand there.
Great defensive possession there by Suter.
Skowjak had it, hands over to Suter, and this will be an offensive foul on Peter. That'll be Suter's fourth foul, as he has been very physical tonight. And that'll be a turnover on Miami. Suter not happy about that one.
Yeah, I think they're saying he put his hand towards the upper body of the Old Dominion defender, but Travis Steele not happy at all about that call. And as you mentioned, Andrew, Suter up to 4 fouls.
Steele was barking at a couple of the officials here. Got to be careful to avoid a technical here.
Yelling across the court.
Steele's been known for his passion on the court, and he needs to be careful to avoid a technical. 58-56. Again, ODU can tie or take the lead. LJ Thomas in the corner. It's Wiggins up top to Thomas. Thomas driving inside, kicks out. Casey Shaw lost his footing, gives it over Wiggins. Driving inside. Stolen away by Byers. Nearly stolen away by Old Dominion. RedHawks work it the other way. Skowjak wide open. Thought about a three, passes down low. Wide open was Byers. RedHawks and they turn it over the other way. Here's Battle. Righty layup, no good, but a foul on Luke Skowjak. The RedHawks are playing really sloppy, and that'll be a couple of free throws for Battle.
And this game has really picked up, especially the tempo. Seemed like it got a little too quick for Miami on that last possession. Byers with a great cut towards the middle of the basket, but a little bit of a disconnect, and Battle almost going coast to coast for the finish.
Battle at the line. He makes the first one. Former Coastal Carolina Chanticleer was a 13-4-2 player and shot 81% from the line last year.
Probably the best player for the Chanticleers last season. One of the better players in the Sun Belt Conference, named to the preseason All-Sun Belt third team.
Second free throw will tie it if he makes it. 58-57, RedHawks over the Monarchs. And Battle makes the second, and we are all tied up. Back and forth we go here inside Millett Hall, as we are now inside 10 minutes. RedHawks and the Monarchs tied. Antoine Woolfolk on the high block, defended by Donovan Raymond. Give it up top to Ipsaro. Wide open, straightaway three. Rims out. Skowjak fought for the rebound. It's won by the Monarchs. Was too far in front. Casey Shaw put a little bit too much on that one, and that'll be a turnover on Old Dominion.
And Shaw's having a little bit of a rough second half. This crowd's been going after him this entire half, and it seems like it is bothering him at least a little bit.
4 turnovers on Shaw. That's the most for the Monarchs. 9:30 left to go in the second. It's Evan Ipsaro orchestrating the offense. Up top, defended by Raymond, gives it over left wing Elmer. Back over Ipsaro, over to Byers, right wing. Byers driving inside, righty layup off the glass and in, counted and one. The redshirt sophomore makes a big play, and Miami leads 60-58. The three-point play coming up for Byers.
Byers probably one of the more athletic players on this RedHawks squad. Standing at 6'8". A great drive there. He's able to get the foul and the lay-in.
That's a foul on Scotty Hubbard, so he's up to 4. Both the RedHawks and the Monarchs have a player in foul trouble. And here's the free throw from Byers. It's good. Byers extends the lead to 3, 61-58, 9:15 left to go in the game.
16 fouls for ODU as well.
One more for the bonus. Here is Jordan Battle giving it over Jared Turner. Back to Battle on the right wing. RedHawks would love a stop here. LJ Thomas defended by Ian Elmer. Big matchup to watch tonight. Couple pump fakes, gives it over Shaw over the top of Antoine Woolfolk, and Shaw connects. Cuts the lead to 1, 61-60.
Just looked like the Miami defenders forgot about Shaw for a split second, kind of hid in the paint, and he's able to get the lay-in.
Elmer, free throw jumper. That one is well short. It was an air ball, and the Monarchs get the miss. Back the other way, this will be a blocking foul on Ipsaro. Donovan Raymond drew it. The RedHawks are not happy about these foul calls.
Yep, Sar almost pulled a fast one there. It's not the worst case scenario for Miami. It's just his second. But certainly could have been a big call if it went the other direction.
So now that's the 6th foul on Miami in this half. Both sides getting close to the bonus. 8:33 left to go in the game. LJ Thomas, top of the key, driving inside, lost the ball. Swarm of RedHawks are there, and they take it away. It was Evan Ipsaro with the steal, and here comes Luke Skowjak in the corner. Byers for 3. It's good! Brad Byers gets a huge three-pointer, and Miami extends the lead 64-60. He's up to 13.
What a shot from Brant Byers. That was contested, too.
Almost another steal there. Ball was tipped by Ipsaro, and here's KC Shaw hearing it from the RedHawks faithful. Crowd on him. Down low, Donovan Raymond. There is Antoine Woolfolk, and he finishes over the top. A tough finish for Raymond. Gets over the top of Woolfolk.
Like everyone on the RedHawk bench was demanding a travel violation on Raymond.
64-62. Ipsaro driving inside, draws a ton of contact. It takes a hard fall to the ground. Foul on, it looked like that was Turner, or they're going to say Donovan Raymond. And that'll stop the clock at 7:40. Ipsaro has been flying all over the court tonight. That's just the type of player he is. Been a bulldog for the red and white through his first 3 years. And now Miami's in the bonus. We'll take a break for the media timeout. The RedHawks up 64-62 in a thriller between Miami and Old Dominion. Be back in a moment here on Red Hawk Radio. 64-62, RedHawks over the Monarchs. And more free throws coming up for Miami. It'll be Evan Ipsaro at the line. This is the guy you want shooting.
Yep.
He was the top free throw shooter last year for the RedHawks at 81%. And he has a chance to extend the Miami lead to 4. Ipsaro sinks the first one, as the RedHawks are now shooting 14 for 16 from the charity stripe. Second free throw from the junior Ipsaro is good, and Miami leads by 4, 66-62 in the second half. They've scored 29 points already. Much better start from the abysmal first half. Old Dominion moving on the right side, trailing by 4, 66-62. Jared Turner, here's a free throw. Jay from Shaw hit the back rim, and it's rebounded by Skaljak.
Man, that's usually the type of shot that he excels at, and it was open. He's just way too deep.
Skaljak pivoting on the right side, head on a swivel, driving inside against KC Shaw, over the top and in, and Miami leads by 6.
Yeah, I'm just so impressed with Luke Skaljak tonight, Andrew. Up to 9 points and 5 boards. He has been excellent defensively as well. This might be the best game of his young career so far.
Under 7 to play, Miami up 68-62. Jordan Battle over to Raymond. Give it over Jared Turner. Byers drew some contact over to KC Shaw. 5 seconds left. Left wing 3, KC Shaw. Bricks off the top, rebounded by Elmer, and Miami controls it again. Now we start to feel this Miami team from last year get into a groove tonight.
Huge possession here, already up 2 possessions.
Brant Byers, straightaway 3, and he missed everything. Was a good look. Skaljak fed up top to Byers, who has 2 3-pointers tonight, and he missed that one badly.
Yeah, Miami with 3 3-pointers in the second half, but just 5 for 22 on the night. And it's usually the biggest strength of this team, but yet they're still up by 6 with just under 6.5 minutes to go. Just speaks to the effort that we have seen from this RedHawks squad defensively.
They have adjusted in a big way in the second half. Jordan Battle up top, gives it over KC Shaw. Still hearing it from the crowd. Over to Jordan Battle. Battle inside, took 1 too many steps as both Perry and Atlason were glued on him, and Miami forces another turnover.
And really, it's ever since Miami switched to the zone,
Yeah,
they've really excelled, which is pretty surprising, especially the way ODU has shot the ball early. Typically wouldn't switch to a zone, but that's what Travis Steele and the RedHawks did, and so far it has really worked.
16 turnovers for Old Dominion. Both Battle and Shaw have 4. Luke Skaljak inside the paint, gives up top. Left wing 3, it's Atlason, and he nails it. Another 3-pointer for the RedHawks, their 4th of the half, and they lead 71-62. Over the top, KC Shaw trying to finish for the dunk. Second chance opportunity, rebounded by Atlason. Big stop by Atlason, making plays here in Millett Hall.
This feels like if you get a bucket here, you're really twisting the knife in this ODU squad, already up by 9.
Leading 71-62, Skaljak inside the paint, can't finish. Ball bounces right back to Elmer. Elmer up top, Atlason thought about a 3, gives it over to Trey Perry. Perry sprinting inside, Perry puts up a shot, righty layup off the glass and in, and Miami leads by double digits, 73-62 in the second.
How about a take from the freshman Perry, his first points as a RedHawk.
Turner right wing 3, that's way off, and it's rebounded by Byers, and now this feels like a possession where Miami can settle things down and use the entire shot clock.
A 12-2 run over the past 4 minutes or so for the RedHawks.
Trey Perry sprinting inside, over the top, too high on the glass, and it's rebounded by the Monarchs. Here's KC Shaw, blocked by Elmer, and here come the RedHawks, racing the other way. Elmer over to Byers. Byers thought about a 3, lost the basketball. Ball's loose on the floor, picked up by Turner. Both Turner and Perry getting into it on the floor, and this will be a foul on Miami. Turner was on the floor. Perry dove in like a hawk, and that'll stop the clock at 4:29. But what an effort here by the RedHawks, who are rolling on a 9-0 run in this second half.
Man, this game has just completely turned, Andrew. Just an unbelievable performance for these Miami RedHawks, down by as many as 14 points, about 5 minutes to go in the first half. Now they're up by 11. It's really been led by their defense. They've forced 16 turnovers from Old Dominion tonight. And if you're able to get that back to your offense, get some points in transition, get some more open threes, especially when you've struggled all night, it's just huge. It's night and day.
RedHawks are also outscoring the Monarchs 36-17 in this second half. They've almost outscored their first half total at 37 points. They're looking really good right now. We'll take a quick break and be back in a moment. Inside Millett Hall, the RedHawks are rolling over Old Dominion. .429 left to go, and the RedHawks are rolling over Old Dominion in this second half. Thanks again for tuning in and spending your Monday evening with us. Miami trying to close this one out and get their first win on the year. Had a much better second half, outscoring the Monarchs 36-17 and searching for more. They work it around up top on the right side. Battle over to Jared Turner, defended by Skowjack. RedHawks forcing a press. One-on-one coverage over to Jordan Battle. Shot clock at 10 now. Here's Caleb Swanton-Roger giving over to LJ Thomas, spinning out of control. RedHawks almost got a steal, but Ipsaro was tripped up and he was fouled off to the races. He has taken a ton of hard falls tonight. Seems to be okay, and that'll be a foul on Old Dominion.
It'll count as a steal for Evan Ipsaro. It's up to 2 on the day. Miami up to 8 steals on the day. That's what they averaged last year, the best in the MAC. And so far, that defensive pressure is continuing into this season.
Third foul on Thomas. 8th personal foul in the second half for the Monarchs. And Evan Ipsaro's back to the line for another trip. He is currently 5 for 5, and he makes the 6th. Always want to be careful about the broadcaster jinx, especially at the free throw line.
If there's, and I might do it here, Andrew, but if there's any guy on this Miami squad where it doesn't matter, it's Evan Ipsaro.
74-62, and Ipsaro, oh my gosh. Maybe it is true. Misses the free throw, and that was rebounded by Caleb Swanton-Roger. But you split the trip. Good job there by Ipsaro. Yeah, I'm a believer that the broadcast jinx isn't real. Anyways, RedHawks up 74-62, under 4 left to play, and that'll take us to another media timeout. We'll be back in a moment. The RedHawks are taking control against Old Dominion. Miami cruising against Old Dominion, 74-62. Game not over yet, and it'll be Caleb Swanton-Roger at the free throw line as Ian Elmer fouled him. On the 1-on-1, missed the free throw, rebounded by Woolfolk, and the RedHawks control it. Nice board there for Miami. Out-rebounding Old Dominion 31-28. It was a big category that the RedHawks needed to improve in last year, and they have already done so this season. 3.5 left to go. RedHawks up by 12. Nice finish on the reverse layup from Evan Ipsaro, and Miami's up 76-62 in the second.
Ipsaro up to 16 points, leads the RedHawks.
This is a 12-0 run for Miami, spanning nearly 4.5 minutes. Stolen away by Skowjak. Here comes the RedHawks. Circling the other way, Evan Ipsaro holds it near midcourt.
Smart move there, slow this thing down. You're up 14 with 3 minutes left. You can chew the clock a little bit here.
Skowjak gets a screen from Woolfolk, lobs it up top. Antoine Woolfolk kicks in the corner. Suter for three. It's good. Peter Suter in the far corner extends Miami's lead to 79-62 in the second.
I mean, you didn't think Pete Suter was going to be that quiet the rest of this game, did you? First three for Suter this season. Good shot for him.
Turner over the top, misses the layup, but it's flushed down by Caleb Swanton-Roger. And that'll lead to a timeout on the court. And with that, Suter's up to 12 points, so the RedHawks have 4 players in double figures, as this has been such an improvement in the second half. It's the RedHawks that we saw last year. They made a ton of adjustments in those second half breaks, and they have done really nicely against Old Dominion tonight.
Yeah, made quite a bit of adjustments here tonight as well, switching to a zone defensively about towards the end or towards the middle of the first half, and they saw a lot of success with that, able to cause 18 turnovers now for Old Dominion. Miami's only given the ball up 11 times, and many of those were early on in this game. If you're able to get the ball back and protect the rock yourself, you're going to win a lot of basketball games, and Miami has certainly done that this evening.
And on those turnovers too, you had maybe 3 or 4 offensive fouls, so those really aren't turnovers. They are turnovers, but they're not typical turnovers like you would think of, like a loose ball or out of bounds, something like that.
Yeah, certainly saw our fair share of those. Old Dominion applying a press now. Very understandable, down 15 with 2:38 to go.
79-64, RedHawks over the Monarchs. 2.5 left to go in the game. Suter gives over to Byers. Byers inside the paint, puts up a shot, and he was fouled. That'll be on Zach Wiggins. Nice work by Suter to get the ball past the timeline as he goes to a reliable option in the paint, Brant Byers.
A foul on Scotty Hubbard, so that is going to conclude his evening.
8 points for Hubbard. Only 14 minutes, and he got a technical earlier in the first half that eventually took him out for a large portion of this game. The RedHawks as well are shooting 16 for 19 from the free throw line there. That's definitely going to be one of their strengths this year. They have a lot of reliable shooters, and they'll have another trip coming up soon.
For how well they shot the ball last year, Andrew, they were just 72% from the free throw line, 7th in the MAC. So if you're able to improve that a little bit, climb up higher in the MAC standings, just another strength of this team potentially.
And Byers clangs the first one. Byers, the 2024 MAC Freshman of the Year, had a breakout campaign with Miami. Second free throw is good. Byers splits the trip, and Miami gets into the 80s. They're up 80-64 in the second. Old Dominion working inside, swinging it around up top. LJ Thomas over to Jordan Battle. Back to Thomas in the corner, 4-3, rimmed out. Tapped around by Atlason and recovered by Skowjak. Ipsaro going around Casey Shaw, showing off the speed. Ipsaro drew a lot of contact there again. Wanted the foul and doesn't get it.
I was pretty surprised they didn't get it, to be honest.
Suter wanted the foul, and Byers throws it down, climbing the ladder, and slams it home. Miami leads 82-64 in the second.
Great cut there from the corner from Brant Byers, an easy pass for Peter Suter.
Trying to extend the lead to 20. Turner, free throw jumper, missed everything on that one and took a hard fall after.
I mean, you just can't say enough about this intensity and pressure that this Miami defense has brought, especially in the second half. Now a 21-4 run for Miami in the past 7.5 minutes.
And Skowjak falls to the floor, draws another foul, the 10th in the second half on Old Dominion. Both Skowjak and Ipsaro have been flying all over the court tonight, as they both seem to be okay, and Skowjak misses the first free throw. Averaged 5, 1, and 2 last year. Finalist for Ohio Mr. Basketball at Brecksville Broadview Heights, and he makes the second one. It's 83-64, 19-point lead for the red and white. Bouncer down low, it's Zach Wiggins. Spinning around against Atlason, puts up the shot off the glass and in for a pair. And Wiggins will go to the free throw line.
Really the last thing you could afford to do if you're Miami is get Old Dominion at the free throw line, especially foul them for and one opportunities.
Cuts the lead to 17, and here is Zach Wiggins, the North Carolina native. Gets the free throw to fall, and it's 83-67.
Just gotta keep beating this press if you're Miami. Just get it across.
Suter on the inbound gives it over to Ipsaro. Crawling up court. Over a minute left to go in this one. Ipsaro driving inside, feeds over. Byers puts up a shot, fouled on his way up, and more free throws are coming for the RedHawks.
Brant Byers just done a really good job these past few possessions, just finding a way to get open near the basket, try to flush it home for the slam. He's about to do it there, but got fouled instead.
And Byers makes the first free throw, up to 17 points now. Had a season high 21 last year against Bethany. And he makes the second free throw, up to 18 points. What a night for Brant Byers, leading all Miami scorers to this point. 18 points for Byers, 16 for Ipsaro, and 12s for Suter and Woolfolk.
And a well-deserved standing ovation for Brant Byers and Evan Ipsaro just now.
Under a minute to play. Wiggins straightaway three. It's good over the top of Trey Perry. Wiggins getting it going for Old Dominion, and that'll lead to a Miami timeout. Stops the clock at 54. 85-70 RedHawks over the Monarchs.
A much-needed three there for Old Dominion. They haven't had a ton of them in this half. Now just one out of their last 9. Obviously down 15 with 54 seconds to go. Seems pretty likely that Miami is going to win this game, but still good quality time for this Miami team to face a press from a team that isn't their self. So good practice time at least for the guys involved and good quality reps.
Also 6 quick points for Zach Wiggins, who's having himself a nice game. The freshman in his first collegiate game, playing well on the road here tonight. RedHawks are 54 seconds away from a victory and starting out the season on a right foot. Last year, Miami defeated App State on the road by 14 points, winning 77-63, and they're looking to take down another Sun Belt team in the season opener for the second year in a row. Looking really good so far.
Yeah, we were talking earlier about how that win at App State for Miami to begin last season was a bit of a statement towards the rest of the MAC that, yeah, we're a legit team. We're going to be right up there with some of the best teams in this conference, and I have a very similar feeling tonight with the way this game has gone against a very good Old Dominion squad.
Suter draws the foul on Casey Shaw, and to that point in around February. They played Troy, who made the NCAA tournament. Miami beat them. So it proves that they can stick with the big dogs. And Miami showing it to a consistent and competitive Old Dominion team in the Sun Belt Conference. Suter makes the first free throw. I mean, this is going to be a good Old Dominion team, obviously playing without their best player in Robert Davis Jr. tonight. But they showed good fight in the first half, certainly. Suter makes them both, and the RedHawks lead 87-70.
Yes, going back to your point there, Andrew, if you're able to shoot 42% from three without your best shooter, you could be a really dangerous team. So this ODU team will certainly be one to look out for, especially when Sun Belt play begins. That's a loaded conference. That'll be very, very competitive.
Battle makes an 8-footer, cuts the lead to 15, 87-72. 7 seconds separating shot clock and game clock as Trey Perry controls it near half court. Perry circling around, lost his dribble, stolen away by Battle, and here's a lob as Battle was searching for Casey Shaw. Those two miscommunicated, not on the same line there, and that'll be a turnover for ODU. Another turnover.
A few last parting thoughts from the Red Hawk crowd here against Mr. Shaw.
15 seconds left to go as Luke Skowjak controls it near half court, and that will do it for the RedHawks. Miami enters the 2025-26 season with a W. They take down the Old Dominion Monarchs, defeating them 87-72. And the RedHawks' quest for a March Madness appearance starts off at a great foot here in the 2025-26 season as the RedHawks win their home opener with a huge second half against Old Dominion.
Outscored ODU 50-27 in the second half. Just a remarkable performance for the Miami RedHawks, I should say, especially on the defensive end. 19 turnovers forced against the Monarchs. They only caught the ball up 12 times themselves. If you're able to shoot less than 30% from three-point lands and you still put up 87 points, you could be a really, really dangerous team, and that's exactly what this Miami team did today.
The RedHawks got 5 players in double figures, including 18 from Brant Byers, who was red hot, made a couple of three-pointers. 16 from Ipsaro, 14 from Suter, 12 from Woolfolk, and 10 from Skowjak. There are a lot of helpful hands here for the red and white as they take down Old Dominion. And now Miami improves to 1-0, and Old Dominion falling to 0-1. Miami's next matchup will be on Friday against the Trinity Christian Trolls at 7:30. It'll be a doubleheader. The women will start first as they will take on Cedarville, and the men will take on Trinity Christian at 7:30 after that. And for Old Dominion, they'll take on a nearby team in Randolph in the Division III level on Thursday at home in Norfolk, Virginia. Well, that's going to do it here from Millett Hall. Miami gets a huge victory against Old Dominion as they start off the season on the right foot. Thanks again for tuning in. My name is Andrew Relvas, joined alongside Bryan Miller. We'll take a break and turn it over to Gavin Stark for the Red Hawk Radio post-game show, capping off a huge Miami victory.
RedHawks get a huge victory, 87-72. After a first half scare, the RedHawks look tremendous in the second half with an explosive start to finish. It was a quick basket at the rim from Woolfolk to get things started in the second half, and then an and one from Ipsaro. The RedHawks were off to an amazing start. Miami getting much better offensive possessions, and then Suter continuing to score at the rim at ease. Ipsaro kept bringing the energy. There was 4 quick fouls on the Old Dominion quickly in the second half, and that's just where everything kept running for the RedHawks. They kept finding points in the paint. Atlason knocks down a go-ahead 3 off a huge rebound from Trey Perry rather, And RedHawks have all the momentum. Then Byers knocks down a big three. Suter in foul trouble with 4 fouls though, so it's a little bit of a scare when the best player is not on the court, but Byers steps up and says, maybe I'm just the best player, with a huge and one. RedHawks went up 3, then guess who? Brent Byers once again, a huge transition 3, and then Skaljek just kept getting steals and rebounds and bringing it down the court. Allison banged down another huge 3, and then Trey Perry got his first bucket, and it was a big one in contact. RedHawks had a lead 73-62, and then Suter, corner 3 to make the lead 79-62 later on in the second half. A two-handed baseline slam by Brent Byers took the lead to 82-64, and the RedHawks would end up pulling it off 87-72 overall. Now let's look at the stat line. Ian Elmore, 5 points, but 32 minutes with 8 rebounds, an assist, and a block. Antoine Woolfolk, 12 points, 6 for 8 from the field, 0 for 2 from the 3. Missed his 1 free throw opportunity, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, and 2 turnovers in 25 minutes. Evan Epsaro, he brought the energy like he always does. 16 points, 5 for 9 from the field, 6 for 7 from the free throw line, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, just filling up the stat sheet in his 28 minutes of play. And then Brent Byers, probably the player of the game, 18 points, 6 for 9 from the field, 2 for 5 from the 3, 4 for 5 from the free throw line, 2 rebounds, and only 2 turnovers in 29 minutes of play. Peter Suter got into some foul trouble. He still had 14 points and was efficient when he was on the court. 5 from 8 from the field, 1 for 2 from the three-point line, 3 for 4 from the free throw line, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals, 1 block, and his 4th personal fouls was about the only downside of his night. Trey Perry had 2 points, 1 for 3 from the field goal, 4 rebounds, 1 personal foul in his 12 minutes of play. And then Almar Atlason impressed in the second half with 8 points, 2 for 4 from the field, 2 for 4 from the three-point line, catching a trend there, 2 for 2 from the free throw line, 1 assist, 1 block in 17 minutes of play. And then Luke Skaljek, 10 points, 2 for 9 from the field, 1 for 4 from the three-point line, 5 for 6 from the free throw line, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 1 block in 29 minutes of play. Luke Skaljek stuffed the stat sheet tonight, and he was really the deciding factor of this ballgame, in my opinion. Might have been the player of the game if not for Brent Byers dropping 18 points and just being explosive on the offensive end. But Luke Skaljek is a huge piece of this team, and you're going to continue to see that. Maybe not starting right now, maybe not starting at all this season, but he's going to come off the bench and bring the energy either way. This RedHawks team has a lot to improve on. Of course, need better first halves. Can't be 7 for 24 from the three-point line. It's just not good enough. But from the field, they shot 50%, really up that. 33 total rebounds compared to Old Dominion's 29. They were losing that stat in the first half, so they really improved on that in the second half. And then they had 4 blocks and 9 steals, nearly 10 steals, something that is huge. And they stayed out of foul trouble in the second half. Night and day difference between the first and second half. So RedHawks pull this one off 87-72. We're saying so long from Millett Hall on this Monday night. Back in action on Friday for the RedHawks. They start off the season 1-0 with a hot start in the second half. I'm Gavin Stark saying so long for now. Thank you for listening to this special presentation of Miami men's basketball on the Red Hawk Radio Network.